Bonjour everyone, Pantoufleee here today for a new video in which we're going to talk about my favorite tier 9. And here it's a tank destroyer, it's a British one, and it's the Conway. This tank that is acquirable by pretty much everyone if you're grinding the FV4005 is, in my opinion, a mix between every single playstyle you can encounter. Because even if the tank seems not to have any armor at all, or at least when you encounter one, that's what you are first gonna think about, well, it does actually have one if you know how to use it. You gotta keep in mind that this tank has one great spot, which is the gun mantlet. It's impenetrable, and most of the time, if you put it in all down and people shoot at that area, they will bounce. And this is what you need to do with this tank. You need only to show the upper part of the hull, and if you can, only that side, not the lower part right there. If you do that, you are a king. The second thing that makes me love the Conway is its gun. Not necessarily because of the DPM that is already quite high, because you're sitting at 2.8k, but rather because you can improve the DPM by shooting with HESH shells, because you have 600 base alpha damage that can climb up to 670 if you are using your HESH shells, which means that unlike most tier 9 tank destroyer with 155mm gun, here you truly have the possibility of inflicting quite a lot of damage. And to be fair, on top of that, the module damage is increased with the HESH, which means that you have more chances with this tank to destroy modules or knockout crew. And another advantage of the tank, its mobility. You have a fully traversable turret, which will allow you to get into good positions and being more comfortable playing with it and analyzing the situations, or even reacting to a push or whatever. And on top of that, you can climb up to 40 kilometers per hour, which is really great for a tier 9 tank destroyer, because it's close to what some heavy mediums could do, like an E50 or something like that. And truly, it's great because it will allow you to either play with the heavies or play with the mediums. And in this video, we are going to do both. Now, one thing to keep in mind, and that is important in my opinion with this tank, to use the spoil liner, because you actually have the possibility of getting penetrated in the back of the turret with HESH. And this is something you truly want to avoid, because when it happens, it's gonna hurt. Finally, one thing you have the possibility to choose on, it's either you go for the gun rammer or you get the calibrated shell. I know a lot of people are probably using it with calibrated shell, and I totally understand your point of view. It's probably better for you if you want to use the HESH shells. But personally, I'm used to get the gun rammer on it in order to get my reload time decreased by 1 second, which truly does a difference, but both should be good. Finally, you should go for the defense system and not do like me and put the improved module, because with this tank, truly, you will not ram anything. Finally, the versatility of the gun that can be used on hilly terrains and pretty much everywhere, thanks to its 10 degrees of gun depression, will satisfy you in no time. So, for the first game, we are gonna keep it with the heavies. We're gonna stay with them, and you're gonna see how you can turn your Conway into a brawling machine. Basically, what you need to do in order to be able to get the tactic to work is sticking with the rest of the heavies, but most importantly, don't be the main target they're focusing on. In order to do that, you can either wait in the back and wait for the heavies to take shots before you poke around the corner, sneak your shell, go back to a safe cover, reload and repeat. Or you can circle, because as I just mentioned, with this tank you have a good mobility and you need to use that mobility. To make it effective, in this one, I'm gonna pick the mobility. Instead of staying with the rest of my heavies at the front, I decided to just circle like I'm doing right now. There is the Hori, the Chief, and the E100, and they have no clue that I'm here. So there we go, starting off with the Chief. Unfortunately, he turned his back straight away. Maybe he already spotted us, or so that there were some weaknesses in their push, but we don't care. There we go, and on the second shot already, we got ourselves 1k damage. It's the first minute, and the first guy is killed by us. Now you're gonna see we switch to HESH shell, as I just mentioned, which is the greatest shell ever. Bang! Here we get those high alpha damage pumped up, because you have 670 alpha damage, not 600 with your regular gun, which makes a whole difference when it comes to dealing damage. Of course, it also comes to a problem, because with your HESH shells, if you are shooting at targets that are extremely angled or rounded, like it's the case on the T57 Heavy, you have the possibility of bouncing your shells, like it just happened to me. It's quite frustrating, but to be fair, as it doesn't happen that much, you shouldn't struggle too much with this. And if you're not sure, just switch to AP, HESH can wait. So what are we going to do right now? We have two possibilities. we can stay in the back traditionally like a good old tank destroyer, or we can play aggressively in order for us to get those damage. What do we pick? The damage. So there we go, we are pushing straight on the T-57. But we gotta think about one thing. The T-57 is probably reloading by now as he's shooting the E-58. So there we go, and bang, ammo rack exploded. Thank you, the module, the critical module damage that the Conway has. As I mentioned already, I told you, this tank has a crazy module damage ability. Use it wisely by shooting at ammo racks if you know where they are. Now, what are we gonna do? We are waiting for the T-62A to not push us, but unfortunately, he really wants to get a piece. So we're not gonna bother. After all, we have the team that is following us. I'm gonna block the guy, or at least trying to block him. Unfortunately, he managed to pass. Not a problem. He got killed, and now all we have to do is dealing with the Progetto. I'm switching to Heschel in order to be 100% sure to kill the guy. We shoot. We get ourselves 4.5k damage. 3 kills, the victory, and on top of that, a juicy ace tanker. Here, you saw we played aggressively, we did not camp, and by doing that, we allowed ourselves to both have fun and big skill. For the second game, let's see what happens when you stick to your tank destroyer role. We're still gonna play aggressively, but unlike the previous game, here we're not necessarily going to be first line. We will be at first rolling with the heavies, but we're gonna wait for them to take shots and not be too independent of them. So how do we do that? It's simple. We use our mobility to take advanced position at the beginning, sticking with the rest of the heavies, and after, we're just gonna wait for them to take shots for us. So how does it work? It's simple. There we go, we poke around the corner, there is the M5O, I'm not bothering, I'm thinking a shot straight. And now I'm thinking, okay, we block them, so what I want to do is playing aggressively one more time by taking the little corner right there. Because from that position, as the M5O just shot, I'm able to sneak my shells. And there we go, starting off with the Yak Panzer. Unfortunately, it seems like the Emil 2 also wants to get a piece of the cake, so we gotta be careful about that guy as well. As long as he's occupied by my allies, it shouldn't be a problem. So there we go, can we maybe get the Yak Panzer? Thanks to our crazy accuracy, we got him. British, you know how it is. And well, now the Yak Panzer is in a bad posture. We're not gonna bother, there is the ICE-4, I'm gonna go in straight as the guy just shot. And here we are doing the traditional, we wait for the enemies to shoot at my friends, and once he's reloading, I'm going out and trying to get the shots done. Once again, we're going to be against the ICE-4, but unfortunately, we got locked. So I'm not going to bother going on the ICE-4. I see that there is the Skoda. We sneak a shell, and now we pull back to a safe cover. Now that the Emil is busy fighting for his life with the WZ-115A, I know that I have a free way to get the ICE-4. He's reloading, I'm not bothering, I'm killing it. And now I have the choice, either helping my WZ on the Emil or going straight on the Skoda. And I'm thinking, okay, the WZ must kill the Emil. It shouldn't be too much of a struggle. So instead, I'm gonna go straight on the Skoda. And there we go for the first shell, not a problem. The guy got killed by the WZ thanks to its ammo rack. Now we are switching to Heschel, killing the mighty Concept 1B. And here the damage are big. There we go for the first one, 600, which was a low roll unfortunately. And the second one that is going to be a blessing, 670 alpha damage. Thank you, goodbye, have a nice day, 5.3k damage, and once again, a juicy ace tanker. To be fair, if those games don't make you want to play that tank and buy it, I don't know what will, because to be fair, it's one of the most hilarious tanks to play with, and usually when I'm having a bad time playing this game, this is the tank I'm using. So hopefully you enjoyed. Tell me in the comments if you like or know the Conway, and most importantly, keep in mind that even if I didn't show it in this video, if you are getting attacked or anything, just stick your turret out and hide the hull. See you soon.